Thanks, Andy. Can everyone see my presentation?
Yes, it looks great.
Okay, great. My presentation, the Fish Passage Inventory Database Mapper, shares an overview of the Alaska Fish Resource Monitor website. It's also known as the ADF&G Mapper. Today, my focus will be on the Anadromous Waters Catalog and the Fish Passage Database portions of the mapper. These are both housed and maintained at ADF&G. We have a research analyst that works on the access behind the scenes, and we have a GIS person that works on this behind the scenes, as well as the data input. I just wanted to give them the recognition that they deserve. The mapper is housed and maintained at ADF&G, and there's a few foundational slides that I'm going to go through first. And then there will be a short demo for a couple of the map features. So over the next 15 minutes, I'll walk you through the what and why of the mapper. It's a bit of a down and dirty. The mapper is powered by data that both staff at Fish and Game and other collaborators have collected. We have a high standard for the data that is behind the mappers, and because of that, I will also share with you some of the information about the data collection. There will be 2 video clips of navigating the mapper. Since it's so interactive, I thought this would be the best way to share it with you. There's one for the AWC and one for the Culvert. I'll also touch base on some of the other features that the map has, like where invasive pike minnow areas are, special features option that it has, and the Alaska freshwater fish inventory information. This is where all of the sampling and survey efforts from ADF&G and other entities have occurred to document both Anadromous and freshwater fish. So this is both the data for the AWC and the AFI. So the mapper is a useful tool when you're planning a fish passage project and for reconnaissance of that. The Culvert and AWC can be referenced when planning stream crossings and other stream-related projects to see what information is available. I'll show you how to locate sites, print reports, view photos, view the culverts, the roads, the AWC, and other features simultaneously, and you can also download data off of there. If you encounter a culvert that when you're out working that's not on a fish bearing scene, or if there's some sampling efforts that you are able to put in for the AWC, I'll touch base on how to contribute to that as well. So the Anadromous Waters Catalog is all of the documented Anadromous waters that fish use, Anadromous fish use, sorry. And in order for the waterway to be mapped on the WC, an ADF&G staff or another collaborator collected data with specific parameters and submitted it to ADF&G. These are a bit different than the NHD lines. The data collected that populates the AWC requires the submittal of a nominations form, and I'll show you how to get to that in a minute. And you need 2 fish in hand of the same species at the same life stage, because you need 2 of the same species for a population. And also because if you see spawning pinks at one time of the year, you may not see the juvenile coho. So there can also be renominations for the same area. And the 2 fish in hand is not literal. If there's spawning adults, the pictures are great. So the photo on the left is the Anadromous Waters Catalog homepage on our website. And this is one way that you can navigate to the interactive mapper. I don't know, yeah, interactive mapping, and also the nominations form is down here. This is what the nominations form looks like. And there's also a backside that has additional species, date observed, and coordinate boxes that can be filled out for more specimens to be documented. The nominations form can be filled out and submitted online or downloaded and submitted. And there's a backside to the form that I said with more information. Those are processed through several levels internally here before they're accepted for publishing. The next slide is going to jump right into a short video clip that I created navigating through the Anadromous Waters catalog portion of the mapper.
This is the Alaska Department of Fish and Game homepage, and to navigate to the mapper, we go to Habitat, and then under quick links, there's both the AWC catalog mapper here and the fish passage improvement that will both take you to the interactive mapper. The tabs that I generally use on the Alaska Fish Resource Monitor are the AWC, the fish passage, AFI, documented invasive pike habitat, and habitat permits, which we have on here for the southeast area. I'm going to zoom into the Kenai to point out a couple more features of the AWC mapper. Here the legend has triangles that denote the full lower and upper extent of documented Anadromous waters, and the midpoints denote a change in life species stage for, life stage for a species in the water. All of the species that are in that waterway and their life stages are denoted at the mouth. The red triangles are also at confluences. And if you toggle between the files, the stream and reference on the file will highlight. The midpoints can show you which species and life stage change there is. So this is the end of the documented Chinook presence. If you click on a nomination form, the key for the species and for the life stages is available on there. Now I will demonstrate a couple of layer options that are over here. If we click on the special events option here, it will show where species presence is throughout the water. This could be more useful for folks that are looking to sort, filter, and potentially export AWC data. An example would be if we go to species event on the tab down here, and we wanted to know where all of the coho were in this portion of the Kenai. We could put that in here. We could remove the points and the stream so that it just shows the species events information highlighted in pink. And then also to export data, we would just export this information to a CSV. The AFI data, I'll give you a quick glance at that. It populates as yellow circles on the map. It would provide the same information if you use the tab up here. And these also will have site reports with information about the data collected during that effort. This is the Alaska Department of Fish and Game.
All right, so that was the Anadromous Waters catalog tutorial. And now we're going to talk about the fish passage mapper portion of the page. The data collection, again, we're going to start with because it's so vital. It is presented on the mapper and it comes from one of two forms. In order to submit a level 1 assessment form, someone from the crew must have attended the ADF&G Culvert assessment or the Forest Service aquatic organism passage training, and you must diligently follow the ADF&G manual. I'll show you how to access that in the next video. I'll touch a little bit more on the inventory form in the next slide as well. So for the Culvert passage rating criteria, the passability is based on the swimming ability pertaining to the 55 millimeter juvenile coho as a proxy for its stamina, leaping, and velocity. That fish is used because it is documented to be the weakest swimming salmon, and also there's a lot of literature on it. The culverts are rated red, green, gray, or black based on the data that we have and the passability determined. So the level 1 assessment form is on the left and the inventory form is on the right. The inventory form was created to allow, more data to be collected and presented on the mapper. And this is generally used to bring attention to sites that are not currently on the mapper, or if conditions have changed at that location. There could have been a culvert replacement or a washout. And since the inventory form doesn't include longitudinal survey, there's typically not enough data to rate the culvert as red, gray, or green. And so these often become rated as a black. So this is the passage criteria, that's the guidelines. Gradient of the culvert is used, in reference to the gradient of the stream, which is why not having a longitudinal profile of the stream makes it hard to assess the passability. And the outlet height, or the water surface drop, that is this right here, which is, determined the leaping ability of a juvenile to get up there or not. And then the constriction ratio, which can determine the passability of a culvert based on its relationship to the stream width and how it's handling velocity and capacity and volume. So the red, gray, green, as I mentioned, and black are what they culverts get rated as in the mapper. And there's a matrix of the red, green, gray versus structure types and the defining criteria in the assessment manual. And again, I'll show you how to get to that in the next video. The inventory form, as I said, generally results in a black rating because the gradient and constriction ratio are generally not determined. But if there is a water surface drop at the outlet with a measurement and a photo, that criteria alone could be enough to rate it as red, inadequate for fish passage. Also, sometimes culvert damage goes into determining the passability of the culvert. So the next video clip that I have is going to start here, and it's a 4-minute video clip that shows a tutorial of navigating through the culverts on the mapper. Here we are on the Alaska Fish Resource Monitor interactive mapper on the Fish Passage tab. Here, I'd like to point out that we do have the ability to host other data sets. We have the Tongass National Forest culvert information. It is on here as a layer. In order to search for different culverts, you can put in the stream name, the road name, or the ADF&G site ID, if you know that. You can also put in a lat long. We do not use abbreviations. Here we'll zoom into the Copper River Highway area. You can click on any of the culverts and you have access to the report that accompanies the culvert, as well as other data sets that are interfaced with that point on the mapper. Here's the survey information for this culvert. There are 2 surveys that occurred here, so they're both on here. There was a fish sampling effort that occurred at the same time as the culvert survey, so that information is housed with the culvert survey. You can view the photos, you can print the report. If you'd like to isolate a specific area, you can use a polygon, a lasso, a circle, and
isolate those culverts. That's what you're interested in. There's the highlighted ones. The default here is the extent of the screen. So the rest of those were just the other ones that were on the screen that weren't in the polygon. This has the ability to query as well. You can filter for red culverts. You could filter for fish passage projects. The number is 1 for a fish passage project. Another feature to point out is the special areas. I'm missing it, there we go. The Copper River Delta area is highlighted. You can also download data from here. You just oh wait, you probably would want to clear the filter out. Okay, export all of the data. Oh, wait. Export all to CSV. Okay, there we go. CSV file. There is a link at the top for a user guide. It has, it highlights the features on the mapper. There's some that I didn't go over. There is a measuring tool. Something that I reference here is the query expressions. There's a fish passage improvement program link to get back to this homepage here. Inventory and assessment will take us back to the mapper. Reports and resources. This has the ADF&G prioritization documents that have been done, and it also has a link to the 2014 assessment manual that was published by ADF&G. I think that wraps up what I wanted to show you on that.
Just letting you know you have your time warning.
On
Kim.
the Alaska Fish.
Oh, thanks. Yep, I think that was done. So it was going to try to start over.
Here.
Yep, there we go. That is the end of my tutorial. I can get out of